Let's take you back now to one of the other leading stories today. National Police Commissioner Fannie Masemola saying there are more officers that will be sent to Bapong village, this is in the northwest, to tackle large-scale illegal mining. The locals there saying illegal activity is even threatening homes. The mining-affected communities united in action. Its leader is Christopher Rutledge, and he joins us now. Mr. Rutledge, thank you very much, as always, for making time for us. Let's start with how, in your organization, you are making sense of the latest that is happening as far as illegal mining activities are concerned in the Northwest Province.
Thank you very much, Koli. From our point of view, look, I mean, our view has been consistent in that you cannot deal with the artisanal mining question, with this illegal mining question, in isolation. The problem that we are dealing with as a country stems from the inequality that underpins mining as a whole. I think the National Commissioner himself mentioned that part of the problem in Bapong is that you're dealing with impoverished communities which are getting no benefits from the mining. So they're living in abject poverty. And then when opportunities arise for them to put food on the table, they are taking it. And it's leading to this kind of destruction that we've seen, this crazy outcome in which syndicates and armed groups seem to be the order of the day.
Yeah.
So our position has been clear. Unless we fix the mining regime in South Africa, which allows corporates to take all the money for themselves and leave nothing for communities, you are not going to solve this question of illegal mining.
I take your position that this is a direct result of deep and entrenched injustice in South Africa's mining system. But at what point do organizations like yours start to talk in unison with the authorities, like the police, to say, much as that is the status quo, you can't allow for illegal activity. Criminality is exactly that. It's criminality, and it must be dealt with in that 100%. Regard.
So there are two things I want to just touch on there very briefly, Koli. Yeah. The one is that we have constantly, for the last 10, 12, 15 years, been engaging government about the need to address this problem. So we're not blind to it. We are certainly not in the view that criminality and chaos should be allowed to reign. But at the same time, we are saying that laws are often made to benefit a certain sector of society. Now, we know in the past, in apartheid, laws were designed to benefit a minority white population, and that hasn't changed in this mining regime. It is still benefiting corporates. We had a meeting with Parliament a couple of weeks ago where we raised this very issue with them, the very issue of Bapong and the Northwest as a whole. We met with the DMPR on Thursday and we raised that same issue with them. So we are in agreement. The communities reached out to us about this problem, and we're in agreement that there has to be a regulated space where these things can happen. So we're trying desperately to get government to come on board and to regulate the sector in a way that is practical.
Yeah.
The other problem, though, Koli, is that Samanco mine, which is on the doorstep of this community, you know, there is a case that AMCU brought based on a whistleblower's report of an executive of Samanco, which says that over a period of 4 years, Samanco flighted out of the country 7.5 billion rands worth of profit, which they didn't report and which didn't flow back to the community. So here you have a company that is actively stealing from South Africa, actively stealing from the community and leaving people impoverished. But we haven't seen Operation Vala Mgodi deal with them in the same way that they seem to want to deal with lower hanging fruits, with the small fry. And don't get me wrong, we are saying yes, it must be dealt with. But the question is, if we don't solve the bigger problem, then you're constantly running at the symptoms and never solving the cause.
Yeah.
And that's what we're asking.
Let's wind down the conversation, Mr. Rutledge, because at the center of all of this is the community who are at their wits' end, and it is in twofold. Either some of them are forced to rent out their homes to these illegal miners, and others are completely abandoning their homes, because the pictures we've just shown when we were talking to the commissioner of the police, all of these holes are being dug around people's properties, and that kind of situation is simply unsustainable. Where does the role of the tribal council come in here, or have they become part of the problem?
Now you've touched on a thorny subject, because we were called to the community a couple of weeks ago. The community members, they called us and they invited us to come and see the situation there. And we went there and we were confronted by security guards of the tribal council. And they actually demanded that we leave the place. So here is a tribal council who has a long history of collusion with mining companies, of not paying benefits back to the community, of not ensuring that the community is developed with the funds that they're getting from the mines. So the tribal council is deeply implicated in what is going on there. Some reports that we have been getting is that those armed individuals, those security companies, are actually protecting the interest of the tribal council. So the tribal council is part and parcel of the illegal mining that is happening there. That is why the commissioner can say that there are some people who have permits, and that is the tribal authorities that are giving people permits to mine. So the tribal authority is part of the problem, and they seem to not have been identified here yet. But I'm glad that you're raising it, and certainly it is something that needs to be addressed. These tribal authorities are deeply corrupt, and they are not passing on the benefits of mining to the communities that need them most.
Christopher Rutledge, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate you being available whenever we do call on you.